Hey guys, and welcome back to my ASL Teacher Rocks. My name is Summer, and if you're joining for the very first time, please take a moment and click that red subscribe button at the bottom. Thank you. So I'm here today because someone sent me an email with a lot of questions, and I decided I would address those questions on my YouTube channel because you all may be curious of the same thing, so I might as well just go ahead and do a one and done type situation. So here we go. Let's jump into it. The first question that was asked is, am I deaf or hard of hearing? And the answer to that is no, I am not deaf nor hard of hearing. The second question was, are my children deaf or hard of hearing? No. Well, sometimes I think they might be hard of hearing because they ignore me. But no, I have a 6-year-old son and I have a 2-year-old daughter. But they are not deaf or hard of hearing. But my daughter is blind in one eye. The other question they asked is, do I have any family members who are deaf? So yes, I do have 2 deaf nephews. My very best friend of 20 years, she is actually the executive director of Hands and Voices, North Carolina chapter. So if you're in that area and you are watching this video and you have a child that may be deaf, I would encourage you to reach out to her. She's amazing and very resourceful, and she has advocated for her boys throughout their entire lives due to their deafness. So definitely, if you need that information. Anyway, so my 2 nephews are deaf, profoundly deaf actually. So yes, I do have family members who are deaf and are involved with the deaf community. The other question someone asked is, why don't I simcom throughout my videos? So for those of you who are new here and may not be familiar with the terminology, simcomming refers to simultaneous communication. And what that means is you're basically rendering a message using English, spoken English, as well as sign language at the same exact time. And I'm going to be honest, the reason I don't simcom my entire video is because I am not skilled in that area. Now, if I'm just having a casual conversation with a friend who's deaf and my husband's present or something, then yeah, I can simcom for a chit chat. But on this platform, it's just a little bit more difficult for me, so I don't simcom the entire time. However, I do make sure my captions are clear, and I personally edit them myself so that they're accurate. So that option is there, and I have captioning on all of my videos. The next question I was asked, gotta look at the list, was why don't I use voice off when I'm communicating on my YouTube channel since I'm teaching ASL and do hands up. So voice off is basically refers to me not talking at all and just having my hands up. And my answer to that is, that's a good question. I choose not to because my video, I want it to be accessible to people who don't have an immediate connection to the deaf community. People who may be young, such as children, and don't have a strong foundation for reading just yet. I want people to be able to learn without having to wonder what I'm talking about, because these videos are being created for those people. The people who have a connection to the deaf community, who have deaf family members, they don't need my videos. They have the language. They're learning from the best teachers, people who are deaf themselves. But for other people, such as that person who works at Walmart and wants to learn how to communicate with a deaf coworker, or that customer who comes into Walmart and knows there's a deaf employee there and they want to be able to say, hello, how are you? Nice to see you today. They want to learn just enough to communicate in that way, not to fully immerse themselves in the deaf community. And also those children. And I say this because I'm a teacher and I've worked with a lot of youth. And what I found is that kids really want to be able to communicate with their deaf peers. And a lot of students may not have that strong reading foundation, but they can hear me and understand when I say, this is the sign for thank you. This is the sign for please. Now, I 100% believe that the best teachers of American Sign Language are deaf people, people who grew up signing. This is their language. I completely agree 100%. I learned from some amazing deaf educators out there. But on my videos, I choose to turn to use simcomming or my voice so that it's accessible to that population of people who want to learn. Now, if that is not your cup of tea, if that's not your preference, that's fine. There are some amazing YouTubers out there that voice off the complete time and they sign, and you can pick up the information and you can join those channels. Bill Vickers is one that I would recommend. I used to watch him when I was back in college as a resource for me as a student, and he's amazing. And I'll spell it for you. It's Billvicars, Vickers. And he's a deaf educator and teacher, and he's amazing. So if that's your preference, I recommend you go there. I also recommend that if you are looking to develop your receptive skills, then this is not the place, obviously, to develop your receptive skills, which is your understanding when someone is signing to you. For those of you who don't know that terminology, receptive refers to someone signing and you being able to understand that. I encourage you to immerse yourself fully in the deaf community, because that's the only way you are going to strengthen your receptive skills. Trust me, that's the only way I was able to strengthen my receptive skills, by immersing myself directly into that culture. So if that's your thing, then definitely get out there, get involved, find the deaf community in your area, especially if you are a parent of a deaf child. Find that deaf community and get involved with them, because you need to know the language both expressively and receptively to support and communicate with your child. I'm just another resource, another option. So if you're enjoying my videos, please subscribe, recommend it to friends and family, recommend it to your children or your nieces and your nephews, anyone you feel may want to learn more about American Sign Language and about deaf culture. Oh, I forgot to say that. So another question was, how can I teach you guys about deaf culture when I'm not deaf? And that's a good point. So let me just tell you, I base my information related to deaf culture from my educational experience, everything I've learned throughout that time, my personal experience being within the deaf community, and lastly, my professional experience of being within the deaf community. So that's what I use to provide information about deaf culture. And I'm not giving anything super detailed, just general things that may be helpful, kind of tips that may be helpful for you all who work with someone who's deaf, or you may go to school with someone who's deaf. Most people that have taken a class with me didn't even know there was such a thing of deaf culture. They didn't even know that, especially some of the parents that I've worked with. So this is just another option. If it's not your thing, please go out there in that sea of YouTubers and find what's a good fit for you. If you enjoy my videos, continue to stay here and stay up to date. And make sure you comment below. Say hi or something so I know you guys are out there. But be nice, because I'm going to be honest with you. My family and my friends, they are waiting for someone to try to cyberbully me. So be nice. All right, you guys have a great one. And remember to keep those hands up and stay signing. Take care.